Today's to the point topic, we're going to talk about a virtual array in Lightburn. And to create a virtual array, you first have to start with a standard grid array, which is here on the left. And if you're not familiar with that, I recently posted a video on how to use it, and I will drop a link down in the description and you can check that out if you like. So we're going to grab an object, this apple, out of the art library, and we'll click grid array. So in the video link, I explained most of the items up top, at least as best I understand them. I just left off the virtual array because I believe it deserves its own video. So we're going to create an array. Click OK. And ungroup because there's an option in there to group and select the array. So if you wanted to manipulate these in the same way, you would have to select them one at a time as a standard array and move them around. But if your array is large and complicated, it would really be monotonous doing that. So let's get rid of that. Let's grab our apple again. Click the grid array. Create our array. And then down at the bottom, we'll click Create Virtual Array. Let me scroll in. Remember, you can scroll in and out with your mouse wheel. You can push down and move the entire canvas around. So your original object has small dotted lines, and the array has these larger ones. But when you move your original object, everything in the array moves. So that's an option the smart people at Lightburn have given us to save us some time. It also allows us to add other objects to the array. So I'm going to grab this worm, and don't laugh, but it's the best worm I could draw. And we're going to add this guy to the apple. So when you do that, you select the object you're adding, shift and select your original object, then you can right click and add to array. Now everybody's got one. So if you want to move these all together, you have to select both objects. And then you can move them around. And if you wanted to move one object, you select that one object, and it just moves around. It's not moving the apple. It is changing the distance, but it's not rotating the apple. If you want to rotate the apple, you can select the apple and rotate it like that. So there's a couple of more options. Select your original object, right click. You can edit the array. And you can make changes. You can add more to it. You can take some away. You can reverse, and it puts your original object on the right instead of the left. And then if you added to it, it would put them on the other side. So we'll take that off. Click OK. And if you wanted to go back to your original non-virtual array, you select, right click, and you can flatten the array. But first, if we wanted to get rid of this worm, we could select the worm, right click, and remove from array. And it takes it away from all of them except the original, because this is the array here. So we can put him back. Let's click. Got to click the original, right click, and it's got to be both of them. I forgot myself. So you have to select the one you're adding, then select your original, then right click, and then add to the array. You can move this around, I believe. Yep, like that. So there's probably some really cool things to do with this. This is about all I know. I'm just playing at this point. But if you folks know more about this, by all means, share it in the comments, and it'll help me and it'll help the viewers that come across it. So if we want to flatten this out and make it a non-virtual array, we just right click and flatten. And then we have our original back. And it may be that you create it with just the apples initially, and then at some point you want to add the worm or some other object. You can convert it to virtual, do it once instead of having to do it 9 times in this case. So it's a real time saver. It's a good thing. The smart folks at Lightburn have this in here. So if you have questions, let me know. I'll be glad to answer them, or at least I'll try to. But that's all I know about virtual array for now. If I learn something else or I find out something really cool I can do with it, I'll let you know. And that wraps up today's To The Point topic.